And welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Man, I am so excited to be doing a check-in. As you know, I have been talking about this New Year, New You. And as part of New Year, New You, fasting, right? One of the tools that we've been using. One of the tools that I've been using over the last, actually going on 2 months now. And it is an amazing tool that we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. I am in another one of the 72-hour fast that you know that I do on a weekly basis. And I started this yesterday at around 6 o'clock. So it is now 1 minute away from being about 30 hours, right? 30 hours. So we're going to do like we normally do here on the show during this check-in. We're going to go ahead and show you what my blood sugars are, show you what my numbers are, look at some of the graphs, and we're going to have a little conversation about what is actually going on during the fast. What's happening in the body as we are fasting. One of the most important things that we want to do as we are moving through the fast is, of course, prepare for the fast. Then we go through the fast, and then we end the fast, breaking the fast. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But why are we doing this, y'all? Why are we doing this? Remember, our goal is, what are we going to do? How do we go about putting our diabetes in remission? How do we get off of some of these diabetes medication? And you know the numbers, right? There are 37 million people in the United States, between 430 and 460 million people around the world that have diabetes. And the majority of them are type 2 diabetics. And so we're specifically talking to patients who are adults with type 2 diabetes. How do we go about putting your diabetes in remission? And we've been doing that as we move through the course of this year so far. That's right. New year, new you, right? That new year, new you. That's our theme. And specifically, what are the steps that we need to do? What are the steps that we need to take to put our diabetes in remission? And one of the big tools that we've been using, of course, is fasting. So let's talk a little bit about what is going on during the fast. And as I mentioned before, whenever we talk about fasting, right, we want to make sure that we are preparing for the fast. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about preparing for the fast. We've talked about that in other shows, and we will come back again and do that in the future. But as you're preparing for the fast, that initial days leading up to the fast, you want to make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to get in the mindset and get your body ready for fasting. So things like making sure that you are hydrated, making sure that you are rested, making sure that you have prepared your environment, right? Because as we're fasting, if we're abstaining from food, one of the things that's going to happen is you will be tempted. You will have those occasions where if you're not done a good job of resting, of making sure you're hydrated, of making sure that you have the right mindset, then there are going to be things that are going to call to you. And if your environment has a lot of those those contrabands, then what's going to happen, right? You are going to have a hard time getting through the fast. So making sure that you are preparing. Like I said, we'll come back and we'll talk more about that as well. And then if you jump all the way to the end of the graph that you see or the diagram you see on your screen, it says breaking the fast, right? So breaking the fast. And as you are breaking the fast, one of the things that we do not want to happen is we don't want to do a good job of starting the fast, right? Preparing for it, go through the process of fasting, and then get to the end of the fast and break the fast in a way that actually reverses some of the things that we've done. Right. So things like, building up the breaking of the fast in your head, making it this monumental thing. Oh, my God, when I'm done with this fast, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to eat and I'm going to, go back and grab all those things that I haven't been eating over the last whatever number of hours that you've been fasting, right? So building that up and making it this big thing. Because if you do that, what is going to happen? You will probably end up eating more than you should eat. Okay. And then preparing the food that you're going to eat. You've seen me as I've broken fast in the past. I've used things like bone broth, salad, nuts, all those things to get me into reintegrating food into my meals. And so just as preparing for the fast is very important, then also breaking the fast is important as well. But during the fast, let's talk a little bit about what is going on as we are fasting, right? So during the initial 24 hours of the fast, what's happening? Right. So during the first few hours post meal, your body is in the fed state. So it has all the nutrients, all the things that you have been putting in, right? The food that you've eaten, it is actively digesting and absorbing the nutrients. That's during those first hours. And, there are a lot of different timelines that people give, but within the first 5 to 8 hours, then your body is really digesting all that food, right? As you move into the fasting state, your insulin levels begin to go down, they decrease. And this is the signal to your body to start using stored energy. This is a signal to say, hey, I need to go find energy. And so at this point, the body begins breaking down the glycogen that's stored in the system for energy. This is important because it is not the initial hours of the fast where the body is switching, right? The body still has all the things that you've been eating, all the food that you've been putting in. Some of that's being stored. That's why insulin levels are so important, because insulin is actually a storage hormone. So some of the food that you eat, the insulin takes it and it says, hey, I'm going to store this. Now, some of it gets used like immediately for breathing and heart rates and movement and thinking and all the things, all the functions of the body. That gets used in the initial part of when you're eating. But as we get further into digestion, and as you stop eating and the insulin levels begin to go down, then the body begins breaking down the glycogen that's stored in the liver as another source of energy. Okay, so that's during the initial 24 hours. During the next set of hours, right? So 24 to 48. Now, for me, I have now passed out of the 24 hours. Like I said, I started my fast on Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. And so Wednesday evening at 6 p.m., that's 24 hours. And then now we've just passed 12 o'clock, 12:06, right? So I am 30 hours and 6 minutes into the fast. So now I'm into this second phase. Now, and we'll come back and we'll look at my numbers and I'll show you what those are looking like. But during this time, during these 24 hours, this next 48 hours, right, 24 to 48 hours, what begins happening is then your body is increasing the fat oxidation. Now it's saying, hey, I've used up the energy that is stored in the liver, and now I've got to go find additional energy. And this is where we begin breaking down those fat stores into free fatty acids and glycerol, which is used for energy. So glycerol is converted directly into, for the most part, into glucose, right? So it's producing glucose, and then the free fatty acid is used, and as it burns it, then we get ketones. So ketone production begins to ramp up as the blood sugars go down, insulin levels go down, the body uses up all the glycogen during the first 24 hours. Then it switches to burning now the fat stores, and in the process of burning fat stores, it produces ketones, and ketones are used as an alternative source for brain and muscle. And it is during this process, y'all, that we begin now seeing the weight loss that we talk about during fasting. Okay, so 24 to 48 hours. And then after 24 to 48 hours, then we get into that 48 to 72 hours. And I've been doing a 72-hour fast. Now, I'm going through this process because I want to tell you what's going on in the body. I've been doing the 72 hours fast. And by this stage, we get into that autophagy, right? The body's cellular cleanup process, right? It becomes more active and it helps to remove damaged cells and regenerate new ones. So this is the, hey, the body's saying, let me make myself younger, right? Let me regenerate, let me rebuild, let me reclaim some of those things, those damaged cells that are out there. And it's during this process that growth hormone levels increase. And this aids in muscle preservation and in fat metabolism. Okay. So that's the process. So the initial 48 hours, initial 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours, and then 48 to 72 hours as we are going through the fasting process. Right. So that's what's going on as we are going through fasting. Remember, we want to make sure that we are doing a good job of preparing. Now you understand a little bit about the physiology of what's going on in the body, and then of course breaking the fast as we talked about. Okay, so let me if you're out there, you got questions, go ahead and make sure you drop those into the comments, because we'd love to answer those. Even if you're watching this now on the replay, go ahead and you can put #replay, drop the questions there, and we'll get back to those and we'll answer them. Okay, awesome. All right, so what's going on? That's what's going on in the body, right? So what's been going on with me in particular? As I said, we will show you, and let's just go ahead and let's start doing that right now as we look at my graphs and look at my monitors and so forth. Okay. So let me, first of all, let's take a look and let's see what my monitors are showing. Let's start with, this is my Libre. This is my Libre, Libre 3. And it's saying that right now my blood sugar is 86. And if you look at the graph down at the bottom, you'll see that starting, and this is now, let's see, probably from 6 o'clock this morning, maybe noon, 12 to 12, you'll see that I was right above 100. And then over the course of the last 12 hours, we've continually gone down. And this is actually, let me do something here really quickly, guys. I want to hop over and show you a different view, not the one I was looking for. Okay, and this is one that I've created for you guys who are out there on Instagram, so we can share together. So this is what my graph looks like, right? So that's what my Freestyle Libre looks like, and showing that my blood sugar right now is 87. Let's hop over and take a look at, this is my Dexcom. And so Dexcom is saying that my blood sugar right now is 102. Now, one thing that happened, and let me pop back over here. One thing that happened is over the course of the last week or so, my Dexcom has been reading significantly higher numbers than my Libre. And so I'm going to actually do a show, because I recorded, took some snapshots of some of those things there, because there are people who talk about the differences between the monitors. And so we're going to come back and take a look at that. But even here, you'll see that my Dexcom is 102. My Libre is 87. So that's what, 13, 14, 15 points higher. But over the course of the last, week or so, it has been significantly higher readings. Today, I actually changed it, and you'll see, let's see if you see a break. Yeah, you see a break there in the, let's go back over here. You'll see a break there in the graph at the bottom. And that was when I changed it, because I think I had maybe 18 hours left in the on the monitor itself. This is the Dexcom, sorry, not the Libre. Had about 18 hours to go, but it started hurting and itching. And when I took it out, the cannula was it wasn't bent, but it wasn't straight. And so I'm wondering whether that's the reason why I was getting those odd numbers. Okay, so that's the Libre, that's the Dexcom, and let me hop over to this view. And this is now showing my monitor. This is my Keto Moja monitor. And as we do, I'm going to go ahead and I pushed it in. We're going to go ahead and check my blood sugar here. Let's if I can get that back out. All right, there we go. So let's get that strip in there. And as I always do, I'm going to massage a drop of blood. Actually, that one didn't get a good poke. So let's do it on the other side of the finger. And there we are. A good drop of blood. Remember, you always want to get a good drop of blood. And we'll see what that shows there in just a minute. And we'll see. Okay, so 83, right? And so 87 is what my my Libre said. So that's pretty close. And as you saw, the Dexcom was 102. All right. And now let's get that strip out. We'll put the ketone strip in. Once again, a good drop of blood. And let's have that right there. And we'll see what that shows. So 30 hours, I don't know, maybe what, 1.5 maybe for my ketones, you think? Or more? Yeah, 1.4. Look at that. All right, pretty close. So let's run through a little again and talk a little bit about ketones. So just as we have different phases of fasting, we also have different levels of ketones. So ketones that are less than 0.5 are considered normal, right? 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. So as the blood sugars go down, then the ketones will go up. So less than 0.5. Then we have 0.5 to about 1.5. That's called nutritional ketosis. And then above that is therapeutic ketosis. And even within the therapeutic part, there are other gradations of it. We won't get into that right now. But right now I'm at 1.4. And let's hop over, and I want to pull up my Keto Moja app. And let's do it. Let's do this. All right, Keto Moja app. We're going to go ahead and try to have that app pull in the data. All right, so 1.4 ketones and 83 for my blood sugar, and that gives me a glucose ketone index of 3.2. Now with the GKI, we want that as low as possible, and there are levels as well. So as the ketones go up, the blood sugars go down, the GKI goes down as well. And let's take a look at that graph right now. Let's see. So here is, let's pop over a little bit. So let me go back to last week. So as I was getting ready to break my fast, you see that the ketones, which is that the ketone graph is the turquoise graph that's there at the top. And actually, let me do it. Let me change my view again. Here we go. So you'll see the ketone graph is the turquoise-ish graph at the top, and glucose is down at the bottom. If I go back to before I was fasting, you'll see that the blood sugar, which is the tan line at the top, is higher. And of course, the ketones at the bottom are low. Then moving into during a fasted state, you'll see that the ketones have gone up because the blood sugars have dropped, and the body at that point is switching over to burning ketones. And then now, right, which is this week, so the blood sugars were up and then the blood sugars were dropping. This was Monday, and this right here was Tuesday about 7:04, so about an hour after I started the fast, right? Because I started the fast at 6 o'clock. And you'll see there that the blood sugars were, what's that, 108, and ketones were down at 0.3, right? So it wasn't fasting. And then right here, you'll see the ketones cross with the blood sugars. And then, of course, the numbers that we just got a little while ago with the ketones being high and the glucose being low. And it is during this process, y'all, remember we talked about the different phases. So I'm in the 30 hour, right? So 24 to 48 hours. And right now, my body is burning ketones, right? We see that the ketones there are elevated. And right now, it is not using glucose, for energy. And during this process, we begin to have a lot of the benefits that we talk about. One of the goals for you during the month of February, remember in the month of January, we said, hey, work your way up to be able to fast once for 24 hours. During the month of February, it was, okay, now let's fast for a 24-hour period once a week. And so that's the challenge that you're doing right now. 24-hour once a week. And because at that point we are now burning, this is when we're burning, we've gotten past the glycogen, and we're beginning now to burn the ketones. Okay, so just at that 24-hour mark is when the glycogen begins to be used up. All right, let's take a look. Let's hop over and let's take a look at my my Dexcom. Let's pop that up here. And so what you're seeing on the screen is Dexcom, and you'll see, as I said, the Dexcom continually over the course of the last week had blood sugars that were higher. Actually, let me do something else. I'm going to hop over and let's do the Libre. I'm going to pull that up as well so we could take a look at what those numbers were showing during that course of that same time. I won't be able to put them side by side, but we'll be able to go through them together. Okay. Okay, so while that's generating, there we are. Okay. All right, let's hop back over to the Dexcom and take a look at some of those numbers, and then we'll look at the Libre. So this is Tuesday, and you see Tuesday numbers, 180s. All right, so this is coming into the day. Right here, we're about noon, lunchtime, and I had what did I have? I had a chicken finger salad. And then right here about 6 p.m. was when we started the fast. And blood sugar, according to the Dexcom, was 172. And then we began to fall. And right here, I had a Caesar salad, a chicken Caesar salad, right? So I was at that. Actually, no, that was right before that. So right leading up to the fast, I had a chicken Caesar salad. And blood sugars fell, and then here's a spike. And once again, I'm assuming that that's from the salad, and then continues going down, and then into today, which was Wednesday, and you see that continually fell, and then right here is my dawn phenomenon. Usually when that's happening, blood sugars go up, and then it continues to fall again through the rest of the evening. right here's where I changed. Actually, let me change my cursor or my mouse pointer so you guys can see a little bit more. Yeah. So right here is where I changed my sensor. And then, of course, to the rest of the evening up till now, right? And let's see. So right now it says it was 102, and then right now, right at this moment, it's 93. Okay. Actually, let me pop over to this other screen so we see what it actually is now. So that's the Keto Mojo. Okay, so 102. 102 is what it is. Okay. All right, hopping back over here. Now let's take a look at the Libre. And so this is the Libre. And let's scroll down to the same days. And so let's see, that's Saturday, Tuesday. All right, so here we are. So Tuesday, right? And you can't see the numbers here. Right on this one. So right here was when we started the fast. So 136, I think is what that would be. Or not 136, but 120 is the top of the gray part of the graph. And so that may be 130 probably. And then the blood sugars started dropping. Now we're below 120. And then over the course of today, right, we've stayed under 120. Right here in this area is where you see my dawn phenomenon. You see how that blood sugar below 120, and then it rose right there. And it kind of stayed there, I don't know, so 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, until about 10 o'clock, and then it started going back down. And then continued to drop to what we have now, which is a blood sugar of 87. Okay? And then we'll continue to watch that as we move into the rest of our fast. Right? So right now, a little over 30 hours, and feeling well, feeling good. I am not feeling low. My stomach is growling. And we'll talk about growling stomachs as we continue into the course of our jaunt into fasting and the benefits of fasting. But there you have it, guys. 30 hours in, and feeling good. Blood sugars are doing well, and we are now in the period where the blood sugars have gone down, the insulin levels have gone down, the body has switched from burning glucose, breaking down that glycogen, and we are now burning fat and using ketones for energy. I can't wait until the blood sugar, until I get to that 48 hours, so I can get some of that autophagy going, get some of that regeneration going, get that growth hormone happening. Right now, you are working on getting to 24 hours once a week. That's our goal. Here in this space, we are putting diabetes in remission. We're getting off of diabetes medications. We are improving our health and improving our lives. And if you're sitting out there right now and you're saying, wait a minute, I'm not diabetic, I don't have to listen to that. Here is my jaunt for you. Diabetes, the things that we tell our diabetics to do are the exact same things that can help people who have polycystic ovarian syndrome, metabolic syndrome, who struggle with obesity, coronary artery disease, history of strokes, people who have hypertension, hyperlipidemia. Remember, insulin is the thing that causes a lot of the problems that we see. With all of the metabolic diseases that we see, improving insulin is one of the primary things that we want to do. And fasting is an amazing way of being able to do that. So don't think just because you're not diabetic, you don't have to you do some of these things. It is a wonderful thing for you as well. Well, guys, thank you for hanging out with us. If you're out there, make sure that you go ahead and put hashtag replay if you're catching us on the replay. For those of you who are seeing us now, if you've got questions, make sure you drop those in the chat. And we will be sure to answer those and get back with you in the course of the week. I'll be back again with another check-in to let you know how things are going, how I'm feeling, what the blood sugars are doing, and we will show those to you as we do here on the show. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood, y'all. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And in this year, new year, new you. Good night. We'll see you at the next show.